Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Take on Tottenham. My name is Ben and this is my take on Tottenham. And again, I have to say it like the last video, it's not really a take on Tottenham in this video, it's a take on the whole Premier League because we are doing the Premier League 21-22 season predictions in this video. That's right, we're going to be basically just doing our own table, predicting how the league will look come May next year. It seems so far away and it will be here so soon, I'm sure. And you know what's really good is to see the Premier League back to normal as well this season. We're quote unquote normal. You know, fans in stadiums, and I really feel like this is an underrated thing in the Premier League season. But 3 o'clock kickoffs on a Saturday, how I forgot what they look like, and obviously every game not being televised as well. So with the pluses comes the negatives. But anyway, we're going to get into the Premier League predictions, and the season actually got underway last night between Brentford and Arsenal, newly promoted Brentford as well. Looking to impress on their first game on the Premier League opener, and they won 2-0. It was quite a really good performance from Brentford. Yeah, Arsenal, I would be worried if I was an Arsenal fan, but I also think, you know, first game of the season, you shouldn't make any judgments on the rest of the season based off that. But I do think there was worrying signs there for Arsenal in particular. And they'll probably be definitely looking for a response in their next game. But that was the first game, Brentford 2-0, and it's not going to affect my predictions. I made these predictions a couple of days ago. I've only just managed to get some time to do the video. But let's crack on with it. So we're going to start from bottom to top because, you know, why not? So in 20th, bottom of the league, definitely relegated, and I'm really sorry to say, Norwich City. Without sounding too offensive to Norwich fans, because I do like Norwich, and obviously Oliver Skipp had a really good season there last season. I do like it when Norwich are in the Premier League, but the problem is they're very much like a yo-yo. They come up, they go down, they come up, they go down. Them and West Brom, I feel the two teams that just doing that every single season, just doing that. And it's a shame, and I hope Norwich can stay up this season, but I just don't see it happening. And I've got them bottom of the pile. In 19th, we have Watford. I think you can kind of see the way this is going. Yeah, again, Watford, I'm just not 100% convinced with the signings that they've made that they're going to be able to stay up this season. I think the relegation zone will be a lot tighter than it was in the last couple of seasons. I think it will definitely go down to the wire, but I just don't think Watford are going to be able to hang on. And 18th, I have really ummed and ahed about this between my 18th and my 17th. I think my 17th, if it was in the relegation, would maybe be a bit more controversial. But I've gone 18th is Brentford. Based on last night, absolutely not at all. You know, if they play like that all season with no fear, you know, did wonders for Leeds and Sheffield United and Wolves in their first seasons back in the Premier League. You know, it did wonders for them. So I'm not saying 100% on Brentford being in the relegation zone. It's a prediction that I made before yesterday's game, of course, but I just sort of think as the season goes on, obviously it's going to get a lot more difficult. Really good start from them last night, absolutely, but it would just be, I just can't see it lasting the whole season. Be great if it did, but I just can't see it. In 17th, and like I said, I ummed and ahed between this and the relegation spot. In 17th, I've got Newcastle United, and I'm really sorry, Newcastle fans, because again, like I said in my kit video, you deserve better. I just, again, sort of like what I said with Watford, I just don't 100% think the signings are enough to have improved from last season. I think Joe Willock is a good signing, but I don't think it's the signing that Newcastle needed to make to keep them in the Premier League or you know, or to push on from last season. And I heard Steve Bruce saying yesterday that he was their #1 target, and well, okay, but I do think they need to improve in several areas, and I think last season they, not lucky, but I think they hit a really good patch of form where Joe Willock was scoring in like every game pretty much. And if they'd not hit that purple patch at that season, I think it could have been devastating for them. Luckily, they just seemed to start getting results, and right before the end of the season, they got them out of it. But there was a good period of last season where a lot of people thought Newcastle would get relegated. But I've got them in 17th, just hanging on. Again, I do think it will go down to the last day, but just hanging on ahead of Brentford. In 16th, I've got Brighton. Not really. Again, I think it'll be tight around that area. And then 15th, I've got Burnley. I think Burnley won't have as bad of a start as they had last season, but I think they something needs to happen where they need to kick on, and I just don't see that happening this season. In 14th place, I've got Crystal Palace. I think that's, you know, quite a sort of okay season. In 13th, I've got Wolves. I'm open to change with Wolves. I don't know too much about their new manager. It'll be very interesting to see how they set up. Obviously, life after Nuno as well. I'm interested to see where Wolves do finish. But right now, I've got them in 13th. 12th, and I sort of understand about having this lower down the list, but 12th, I've got Southampton. I think Southampton are a good team. I think I'm very big admirer of James Ward-Prowse. I think he's an absolutely cracking player, and obviously the loss of Danny Ings is quite a big loss for Southampton, especially to a club that is going to be sort of in and around where they would like to be fighting as well with Villa. Che Adams, you know, is a good player. I don't think he's had the most groundbreaking of seasons with goal scoring yet, but I don't think that's not going to happen either. I think, you know, if he just hit some form and get some confidence, I think he can be really good for Southampton. I've not got them as low as I've seen other people have them. I've got them 12th. I think that's a good season for them, and hopefully in January or next summer they can strengthen and whatnot. And then 11th, I've got Villa. Again, I sort of feel like with Villa, it's one of those things, isn't it? How big is the loss of Jack Grealish going to be? I'm not sure. I think they've done some really good signings. Leon Bailey, I think, is a brilliant signing. Danny Ings as well, for, you know, that was a really, really top signing for Aston Villa. Again, I'm open to that changing. But for right now, I've got Villa sitting in 11th. I think I might have been too harsh there, I'm not sure. In 10th, I've got West Ham. And again, it's not a bias thing, but in 10th, I've got West Ham, and I'm only putting them 10th because I think they had a really, really good season last season. A really, really good team. Jesse Lingard obviously was one of the star performers, but a number of different players as well. Souček, Cresswell, Declan Rice, having really good seasons. I worry for West Ham in sense of balancing Europa League and not having Jesse Lingard. I think Jesse Lingard was a really pivotal part of West Ham's season last season, and I sort of think as well, balancing Europa League, of which I think they'll do okay in. I just think trying to balance that and the league, I don't see them getting the finish that they had last season or the form that they had last season. I've seen people put them a lot lower than that because of those reasons, but I think they'll get a solid 10th. I think it'll be still a good season for West Ham, but just not as good as last season. I've got Arsenal in 9th, and people will be like, well, why have you put Arsenal above West Ham? Why have you put them above Villa? You know, I do think, and again, I'm wearing this. Is the badge on this one? Oh, there it is. On that one, I'm wearing this shirt. I've got, you know who my allegiance is like with, but I do think that Arsenal go through seasons where they do have bad patches, and then they sort of recover. And I do think that Arsenal will probably, I think that obviously they've had a bad start last night. I think they will have a bit of a rough start. Their opening sort of 6 or 7 fixtures aren't kind at all. But I do think that they will hit a bit of form where they'll start to improve. Obviously, the transfer window's still open as well. They're in talks with Odegaard as well. to bring him in. I think some of their business has been good, but also questionable. I don't think Ben White was worth 50 million. I think he's a really good defender. I don't think he was worth 50 million. Aaron Ramsdale's been talked about for 30 million. I don't think that's a signing a club like Arsenal should be making. We'll have to see. I think Odegaard would be a really good signing for them. Obviously, he's been at the club. He had quite a successful loan spell with them. I do think they're going to improve. I don't think last night everyone's going, you know, they're going to be struggling to get in the top 10 or anything. I think they will get into the top 10. I don't think it's going to be a struggle or anything. I just don't see them breaking into the top 6 at all, or the top 7. I don't. And like I said, honestly, I promise you, I'm not looking at this from a biased perspective. I'm just sort of trying to look at the signs and think that I do think they are going to get better. I do think they are going to hit a bit of form. But I also think watching that last season, there are worrying signs. And I think they do need to bring some players in that are going to improve the squad. I think, you know, getting Thomas Partey back as well would obviously be a massive improvement for them. I know last night they missed Aubameyang and Lacazette as well, but obviously I think they've been having sort of iffy seasons anyway last couple of seasons, especially Aubameyang. But I think Arsenal will be okay. I don't obviously think it's where their fans want them to be, of course. I get that, especially as a Spurs fan, but I think they'll be a lot better than what was on offer last night. In 8th, I've got Leeds. I think Leeds will have a better season. I think they'll have a good season. The only worry I have for Leeds is that everyone knows what they do now in terms of like, when they came up, no one knew how they're going to play, and they really went gung-ho at teams. And if they lost 4-2 or whatever, or 6-1, or, you know, they still went gung-ho at it, and it was really good to see, and it was nice and refreshing. I just worry if they're going to be able to continue that this season. We've seen that really not work for a lot of teams. Obviously, Sheffield United, really good season, caught everyone out with their style of play. Next season, everyone cottoned onto it, and they didn't do so well. Same with Wolves, you know, really good first season back, really good style of play. Next season, sort of started to struggle a bit. I do worry for Leeds that that's going to be the case. I think they'll still have a good season. I think, you know, they're a really, really good team to watch. And obviously, Ellen Road, I think, with packed out with fans, will be a real game changer as well. I think that is such an old stadium, and when it's absolutely packed to the rafters, it will be like when Liverpool have the Kop and stuff. It will change games, and I think that will be a really pivotal point for them in this season. So I've got Leeds sitting in 8th. In 7th, I've got Everton. Please forgive me. I don't mind Rafa Benitez as manager. I think wherever he's gone, be it agreed with or not agreed with by the fan base, I think he's still done a good job, and I think he will do a good job with Everton. Whether or not it lasts, I have no idea how this will go. I think 1 or 2 losses, 3 losses in a row, and the Everton fans are going to be straight on his back. And if you've got your allegiances because of the Liverpool thing, then fair enough. I still think he'll do a good job regardless of the circumstance. I remember when he was at the Chelsea in the Chelsea job, and it was a very vitriolic situation there, and nobody liked him. There was, you know, so many songs and abusive songs about him from the home supporting fans, and he still did a job. Like, was it the best job he's ever done? No, but he still got the job done, and I think he will do the same with Everton. He won't be wanted, but I still think he'll have an okay season. Not groundbreaking where Everton probably aim to be, but I think that I think he'll do okay. In 6th, I've got Tottenham. I've got Spurs. Again, people think I'm biased, maybe putting them a bit too high. I don't know. I think it'll be tight between Tottenham down to Arsenal, maybe West Ham. I think that 6th to 10th, I think is going to be chopping and changing quite a lot. I think Spurs, while I've been impressed with the business, I'm really impressed with the business. I think Romero's a fantastic signing, really, really good signing. Galini as well, I think more long-term is a really good signing. Brian Hill as well. it'll be interesting to see how he adapts. I no doubt about his ability. I think he's a wonderful player, but I just wonder how he's going to get on with the physicality of the Premier League. It's one of those. I think they have definitely done some good business. Hopefully not the end of the business. You've got the Harry Kane saga still rolling on. The longer that rolls on as well, the less time, if he does go, the less time Spurs have to get a replacement in, and that's what worries me a bit. I really like Nuno as a manager, and from what I've seen in pre-season, Spurs set up really well. Dele looks really good. Sonny's playing a bit more of an attacking role. I think Spurs are going to have a better season than last season. And that's not saying much, I know. I think they will have a better season for sure. I still think they're going to be a mile away from the top 5, though. I don't think they're going to be pushing Leicester on points or Liverpool or anyone like that. I think they're going to be... there's going to be a bit of separation, but I think they'll definitely get Europa League football. I think they'll get a comfortable 6th place in the end. But I do think that throughout most of the season, that sort of top 10 to sort of 6 is going to be really chopping and changing. But I've got Spurs at 6th. But again, that's subject to change on the transfer business. It really depends on what happens with the Harry Kane and, you know, the replacements for them as well. So I've got Spurs sitting in 6th. In 5th, as you might have heard, Leicester. I've got Leicester just missing out on the Champions League again. Although, again, not worry or panic with any of that. I think Leicester's still going to have a really good season. I think they'll, again, take it to the end of the season like sort of last year. And I think they'll get some silverware. I can see Leicester holding on to an FA Cup or whatnot, or a League Cup. I can see Leicester doing that. I think they'll have a really good run in the Europa League as well. I thought, you know, they've got to right some wrongs from last season, and I think they will have a good run in the Europa this season. In 4th place, I've got Liverpool. I just think from lack of transfer business, I just haven't seen enough from Liverpool to warrant going any higher. I do think Van Dijk coming back is obviously going to be a massive boost. Getting the injured players back, obviously Andy Robertson has got injured, but I think Liverpool will be a lot better than they were last season. I know 4th and 4th, whatever, but I do think that I think they'll be a lot stronger than last season. They had that really bad patch at home. I don't think that'll happen this season, especially with fans coming back. I think they'll be okay, but I'm going to put them in 4th. In 3rd, I think, bear with me, I think the top 3 that I've got, which you all know now, I think it's going to be I'm calling it out, a 3-horse title race. I think Man U, Chelsea and Man City are going to be involved in a 3-horse title race. I think it's going to go down to the wire. It's going to be dramatic. Sky will love it, everything like that. I've got Man United sitting in 3rd, and I think they're going to be really good this season. I think Sancho, obviously, massive signing. Varane, whenever it gets announced, is an incredible bit of business from Man United. And I think that is one of those game-changing signings. I know they've got a few outgoing stuff. Obviously, they've also said Martial is not leaving, but I think Man U are going to be a force to be reckoned with this season. Again, like I said, at Old Trafford with fans back as well, I think they'll be up there fighting for the title. We'll see what happens, but I think 3rd, but fighting for the title. I've got Chelsea in 2nd. Again, fighting for the title, end of season, whatever. And I've seen a lot of people say the team that finishes in front of Chelsea will be the team that wins the league. Chelsea have strengthened incredibly. Romelu Lukaku, incredible bit of business. I think Ziyech, I know he's got injured as well, but I think Ziyech will be a key part of their season. I really rate Ziyech. I think he's a really fantastic player. I'm gutted for him in a way, because he's got injured, because I thought this season he was going to really break out and really be one of the players of the season. They hurt his shoulder, but I just think Chelsea, and there's still time in the transfer window as well, I think Chelsea really have a good squad, and I think they're going to push Man City all the way. And obviously then that leads into 1st place is Manchester City. I just think they're just going to do it again. Obviously, if they get Kane, then you might as well give them the league. Grealish, obviously, what can you say? It's a great signing. The money's ridiculous, but it's a great signing. And like I said, that on top of De Bruyne, Fernandinho, Mahrez, Jesus, say what you want, but Sterling, Diaz, Ederson, you know, they've got such a team, and it just makes someone like me absolutely just give up, really, when you look at a team like that, because you just think there's absolutely no way in hell is anybody else with aspirations, at least, trying to, you know, catch them. And that I think I'm more on about last season. Like I said, I think this season will be a bit closer. I think like last season, for me, what puts it into perspective is Man City had a terrible start to the season, and terrible start. They lost 5-2 to Leicester. They lost to us. That says everything. They had a terrible start and they still walked away with the league. So I've got Man City sitting in first, Chelsea second, Man U third, but I think all three of them, last day of the season, three-way shootout for the title. But I still think Man City will win it, because they'll score about 120,000 goals, probably, especially if they get Harry Kane. So that is my Premier League table. Let me know what you think about it. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comment section what you think. Would you change anything, or do you just agree altogether? Spurs kick off tomorrow. New season against Man City, of course. Yeah, we will be back to having matchday reaction videos. I might live stream, I might not. I'm going to see how I feel tomorrow. But definitely there'll be the matchday reaction videos back up every single game of the season as normal. So I'm looking forward to doing that. We start again, we go again, new season 21-22. Here we go. And if you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment, like I said, and hit the like button as well, because it really helped me out, and the notification bell, all that jazz. And I will see you guys in the next video. And as always, come on, you Spurs.